Hey, I'm Lachelle Wooten, and welcome to my class. You got your vision board box, and I want you to know that everything you need to get from where you are to where you want to go is inside that box. Are you ready? Come with me. Let's start the class. Let's get started. I have these three lovely people here with you so that you can learn everything I have to share about how to use the universe and your vision board to make your life everything you want it to be. So let's dig right in. Get your balance sheet and your pen ready. So I want you to answer the questions on the balance sheet rapidly. Don't waste any time, read the question and answer it. I want y'all to get started too. Let's go. Now, make sure you're paying attention to what the question says. Don't imagine that it's saying something different than it does. They are specifically written to help you understand where you are in your life and what you need to work on first, which is what I'm here to do for you. Don't double guess. Just answer yes or no. There is no maybe, and there is no yes and no. If you feel stuck, if it's a yes, a little bit more than a no, then it's a yes. And if it's sometimes a no and sometimes a yes, it's definitely a no. Okay, so how do we do? I'd like for you to follow along while you share with me how many no's and how many yeses you had. Count them up. If you had all yeses, you're in the wrong class. But very few people have all yeses. Almost no one has all yeses. What about you guys? How many yeses did you have?
We had three.
3 yeses and 9 no's. Sound familiar? Is that you? What about you?
11 yeses and 1 no.
Oh, we have a professional here. And what about you?
I have 9 yeses and 3 no's.
Very good. Okay, this is great because you fall in here somewhere. Some of you have a ton of yeses and some of you only have a few. And it's okay. The more no's you have, the more you need this class. So let's dig in. What was the most difficult question for you to answer? Anyone care to share?
I know my ultimate dream career.
I know my ultimate dream career. Do you know your ultimate dream career?
I guess I'm at a crossroads right now, so.
That's a good point. So being at a crossroads is not the easiest way for you to manifest what you desire. What you need when you're building a vision board is clarity, right? Did anyone else struggle with that? Do you?
With that question?
Yeah? Was that a good one for you? You knew your ultimate career? You did not.
No, but I know that. That's not something that you think about.
Okay.
Vacationing too much,
So, do you think about vacationing? How are you going to manifest a vacation that you don't know you want to have? Right? This is the question I want you to answer for yourself. And what about you? What was a difficult one for you to answer?
I do something I'm proud of every day.
Oh, what caught you? The everyday?
Yes.
Uh-huh, right. This is the thing about manifesting in your life. You have to be clear about what you desire in every aspect of your life. So for example, I asked the question about loving your home and everything in it. Now, how many of you love your home? Do you love everything in it? Do you love the sofa? Do you love the shower curtain? Do you love the curtains in the living room? Do you love your silverware? Because a lot of us, we take into our lives the things that people give us. How many of you have Auntie Sylvia's silverware from 1942? And everybody in the family thinks you're the lucky one because you have this family heirloom. But every time you open the drawer to take out a fork and eat your meal, you feel kind of lackluster or annoyed because you don't even like the look of Auntie Sylvia's silverware. Do you have that experience?
No, I had a question.
Please, ask away.
I only have good friends in my life.
Oh, yes. What did you answer for that?
I said no.
What did you answer for that? Tell me why. You said no.
Well, that's the thing. You have people in your life for certain reasons, and none of
Yes.
them are good, but I understand their heart.
Huh. So is there a reason to not have someone who is good for you in your life? Uh-huh. Right. Okay? And this is what I want you to think about, right? You only have good people in your life. If you're trying to enjoy your day every day, and you have people in your life who frustrate you, annoy you, mistreat you, use you, take from you but don't pour back into you, then how are you going to be able to experience and enjoy a fulfilled and fully manifested life? You're not. Because when we make space for people who are not giving to us what we need at whatever phase we are in life, then we are not allowing space in our lives for the things we actually desire. Because here's the thing, everything you do is a conversation with the universe, which is always listening. So if you have friends in your life that aren't really treating you well or aren't supporting you, or even worse, talking negatively to you, then what are you saying to the universe? This is enough for me. It's fine that these people don't really care about me. It's fine that they don't believe in what I believe in or what my dreams are. I'm okay with that. So no need to bring me what I truly desire. Does that make sense? So how do you feel about moving those people out of your life? Does it feel like it might be a chore or a task?
Yes.
Right. Why is that?
I think I'm lazy. I'm lazy.
Well, a lot of us are.
Yeah.
How are you with confrontation?
It depends.
Okay.
It depends. I teach kids, so I handle them differently than
Adults?
adults.
Okay, so here's what I want you to know. You can use your vision board to absolutely remove every person and everything in your life that doesn't serve you without having any confrontations at all. How's that sound? One of the things I know in the work that I do is that most people struggle with confronting those that aren't serving them well. They don't want to do it, right? They don't want to hurt feelings. And often those people are people in your lives like parents, siblings, mates. But here's what I want you to understand. When you get clear about what needs to be in your life and you build a board that holds those ideals and desires in one place, you literally start to shift how you show up, what you respond to, the questions you answer, the things you will not do in your life. So tell me another one that was hard for you to answer, or that you just gave a no to.
When I think about my future, I like what I see.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Well, I wrote down no because I don't know about my future. I look and it's very blurry.
Okay,
It's not a clear picture.
got it. Well, I think that's a struggle a lot of us have. So I want you to tell me a little bit more about this, okay? When you say it's blurry, do you have a sense at all? And I want you to be thinking about these questions for yourself. Do you have a sense at all what you might want in terms of where you live? Let's just start there. What does that look like? What kind of location? Is it urban? Is it tropical? Tell me. It's urban. So you want to be a city dweller?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, now in the city, do you want to be on a tree-lined street? Do you want to be in a brownstone? Do you want to be in a penthouse?
Brownstone.
A brownstone. You said that with a great amount of ease. What about you? Where do you want to be? Now, let me ask you this. In this brownstone, who lives with you? Is anyone sharing your space? Who?
My family.
Family as in
My husband, my son.
your husband, your son. Fantastic. Now let me ask you this. Holiday season is here. Who's sharing the house with you then? Are there people visiting, or is it just the nucleus you just described?
Oh no, family, extended family.
Extended family. So now these are things that you are doing to define what your life will look like moving forward. Now, when you leave this lovely brownstone, what are you doing outside? How do you spend your time?
Working on stage.
Oh,
In the recording studio.
performing, recording. Fantastic. Now I want you to follow this. When you're performing, who's in the audience watching you? Who's in the audience? Do you see what I'm doing? I'm really helping you to figure out how you define the life you want to live. Do you know what stage you're on? What's the stage? Okay. I want to pause right now. Take a breath, everybody. Now, did you see how she said Richard Rogers. The universe ain't gonna bring you nothing when you're talking like that. Zero. Let me explain something to you about the universe, and then I'm gonna ask you this question again. The universe is endless and expansive. Imagine meeting Oprah Winfrey. And imagine Oprah says to you, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And you say to her, can you lend me $20? How is your question or her time with you even worth anything to her? Think about how much she's capable of. Think about how expansive her life is. And now triple that. That's the universe. When you ask for what you desire, it has to be large and outlandish. So tell me again, what stage will you be on when you are performing?
Richard Rogers, Hirschfeld, those.
Wonderful. What color are the curtains in the Richard Rogers Theater?
Red.
They're red. Oh, look how quick. Look how quick. Red. What are you performing? Are you singing? Are you dancing? Are you in an ensemble cast?
I'm singing,
Singing.
acting, with an ensemble, yes.
And is there anyone in particular you want to be singing and dancing with? You have these dreams. They're inside. I'm pushing you to bring them out. You don't have to worry about saying what you want. And let me tell you where the hesitation comes from for all of us. We think that once we say it out loud, then we're required to figure out how to make it happen. And it's a very big reason why we keep all of our desires inside, because we don't know how to get on the Richard Rogers stage with James Earl Jones or Audra McDonald. And here's what I want you to know. The universe does not need your help at all. You just have to let the universe know what it is you desire. And that's the point of your board. You see, what I want you to understand is that in life, we have multiple layers. Can you do me a favor? Would you mind reading the first 3 questions?
On the balance sheet?
Yep. First 3.
Oh, out loud.
Yep, out loud.
I know where I would go on my dream vacation.
I know where I go on my dream vacation.
I'm eating right for my health and my body type.
I'm eating right for my health and body type.
I only spend time with friends and family who respect me.
Got it. Friends, health, vacation. Can you read the next 3?
Certainly. I'm having fun in my social life.
I'm having fun in my social life.
I feel joy and happiness every day.
I feel joy and happiness every day.
And I love my home and everything in
I
it.
love my home and everything in it. So just in the top half of this sheet, we talked about 6 different parts of your life. And every single one of them needs your attention and your clarity. But you can't keep all of that in the front of your mind, ever. So this is why you need to build a vision board, because you need a roadmap for the universe to follow as it delivers to you what you're asking for. Does that make sense? Okay, so now, Audra McDonald, and I want you to follow along here, because what you're doing is you're thinking about something that's important for you, something you want to manifest. Audra McDonald, Richard Rogers Theater, red curtains, opening night, the show is over. Who is in the front row? Your husband. Who else? It's a long row.
Okay, my husband, my son, my mother, my father.
Yes.
My friends.
Husband, son, mother, father, friends. Any celebrities that need to come and see you? It's opening night.
I really haven't thought of any celebrities. Just
Exactly, which is why we're here. Okay, so I'm pushing you to think of every single detail related to one thing that is on this balance sheet. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to tell me, I follow my heart and not what others push me to do. If that was a no for you, and I have to say, it's usually a no for most people, I want you to answer this question for yourself. What do you do when someone asks you to do something? And let me just give you some examples. Oh, can you come over and help me paint my house? Oh, can you babysit my 3 kids while me and my friends go out to brunch? Oh, can you please come and drive me to the airport on Saturday? in the middle of the day? The answer to that question for most people is a no in their gut, correct? Does anyone feel an overwhelming sense or need to go help a friend paint on a beautiful sunny day? That would be a no. Okay, so what happens to you between the instinctual feeling that you get in your gut, that is usually a no to questions like that, and the words that come out of your mouth when you say, well, sure, no problem? What do you think you're doing in that transition from what your gut is telling you to what you say to the person who's asking you for something you do not desire?
There are many things. I mean, this person might be a friend, you owe them something. It's about them, I guess not me at that moment.
Okay, so I'm so glad you said this. Everything is about you. Everything is about you first and foremost. Now, some people will say, oh, that sounds so selfish. I don't want to be seen as selfish. But the reality is, you cannot arrive to anyone in your life, husbands, friends, half-ass. You just cannot do it. You have to be full of everything you need and desire before you can offer anything to someone else. So I have a saying about a saucer and a cup. All right? We have to fill our own cup to the brim, which means you're meeting all of your needs first. I don't care what role you play, son, mom, brother, boss, whatever role you play, you still have to fill your needs to the brim. And when it overflows, because you have given yourself everything you need, the stuff that drips into the saucer is what you offer to your friends, is what you offer to your son, right? I'm a mom too, and I know there's a lot of parents. I know you might be a parent. And what I want you to understand is there's nothing I can give my children if I am malnourished in my spirit, in my energy, in my rest, in my laughter, in my joy, in my sex life. I am giving malnourished, dried up parts of me to my children. And is that what we want to do? We don't want to do that with our mates. We don't want to do that with our business. We don't want to do that with our family. But you got to give to yourself first for that to happen. Okay? So tell me, is there anything on here that you're not quite sure what to do with? Any question that came up where you were like, I don't know if this applies to me?
Recently, I kind of spearheaded a family reunion.
Okay.
And surface, it was fine.
Okay.
The point of it happening was for us to really delve in, ask questions, and be at a place together and not be fighting or talking behind each other's back.
Got it. You wanted this to be a nourishing experience.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's funny that you bring those things up, and I was really trying to do that.
Right.
But my family isn't in that place.
Oh, so what's your question?
So my question is, now I'm on the outside of my entire family for bringing this drama of just wanting to talk about the truth to the table. And
Yes.
everyone's angry at me.
Oh, okay.
So how do I then deal with that? Because now
Yes.
none of my family's talking to me.
Yes,
because
which
I
is
just wanna
great.
Talk about the truth.
Congratulations. And here's why. Here's what happens, right? You can only bring forth your truth, which you're doing. So I commend you for that. And if that's what you're doing, I commend you for that. But here's what I need you to understand. Every step and action you take, you're actually speaking to the universe. And so what you desire and what you talked about with your family and the family reunion, the universe is giving you everything you need to get the situation where you need it to be for you, right? So you wanted what? You wanted everyone to come together without fighting. Great. They're not fighting. They're not even talking. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, so let me help you think about how you would put this on your board. If you wanted to have harmonious family relationships, what kind of images, and I want all of you to think about this, what kind of images would you use that visually represent harmonious family relationships? So what would that reunion look like if it was harmonious? I'm asking for a photo, like an image. What would that look like?
A group dancing.
A group dancing. Okay, so that would go on your vision board. What else would this reunion have that would be fun and harmonious?
People in the kitchen around food.
People in the kitchen cooking around food. I'm guessing they're smiling, they're not throwing food at one another.
Yeah.
Got it. And give me one more image.
Likes.
That's okay. That's okay. So think about this. You're eating, you're dancing, okay? How are people coming to the reunion? How do they get there?
They drive.
Okay, so maybe there's people in a car. Maybe they're singing some of their favorite old tunes as they arrive in a high mood, happy, ready to meet everyone that they've been missing over the last year or however long ago that reunion was. Okay, so all of those images are images that go on your board, right? Now, they represent what your desire is for your family experience. Now, tell me how you're feeling at this reunion. How do you want to feel when you're there?
I want to feel like I'm a part of the family.
What does that mean? See, I told you we're gonna dig.
I'm seen, I'm respected, I'm heard.
Oh, now this is totally different than the family getting along. You being seen, respected, and heard, what does that look like?
Not what it was.
Okay, I'm so glad you said this. I want you to hear this because this is what we do, and this is what I want you to learn right now. When you're trying to manifest your life by using a vision board, you have to only speak about what you desire, right? You don't put on your board what you don't desire. I'm gonna give you an example. So I have a friend, and she wanted to be married, desperately wanted to be married. And so when I helped her with making her vision board, I gave her all of these things to put on her board to represent what her marriage would be like. I said things to her like, when you're not feeling well, what do you want your mate to do for you? When you have just opened a business and you're super excited, how do you want your spouse to celebrate you? I said to her, what about it's Sunday? You guys are just relaxing. You're not responsible for anyone or anything. What are you two doing at home? What does that look like? And she rattled off some beautiful things to me. And then guess what she did? She went and put images of brides and grooms all over her board. They were at the altar, they were cutting the cake, throwing the garter, and guess what happened to her? For the next 4 years, every guy she met was married. Yes, you gasped, and you should have. Every guy she met was married and boldly saying, oh, my wife lets me see whomever I like. Or not wearing their ring and hiding it. Or telling her, oh no, I'm on my way to getting divorced. None of which was true. But this is my point about putting on your board only what you desire, right? She wanted a husband. She wanted a spouse. But the only thing she put on her board was these images of the actual wedding with all of these husbands, right? And I'm pushing you to move beyond that. So when you say, I want to be respected, I really need you to think about what that looks like. When you're talking to your grandfather, what does him respecting you look like when you and him are having a conversation? When you make your mac and cheese and Auntie Carol makes hers, what does your mac and cheese being respected look like, right? Does it get equal placement on the table? Or do they leave your mac and cheese in the kitchen? Do you see what I mean? Okay, and I want you to notice you started with your conversation about your family being the issue. But the reality is you actually want how your family communicates and connects with you to actually shift and grow. Am I right about that? Okay, so I want you to keep this in mind. So now, I have a question for you and for you. What is your biggest, deepest desire in your life right now? Don't hold back. You don't have to know how to manifest this. You just have to tell me what it is. How about you? Biggest desire. Biggest desire.
To be a working actress and a caring mother.
A working actress and a caring mother. Okay. And get ready because I'm coming to you. Working actress is about you. Motherhood is about your child. Vision boards are literally only about you. Only about you. Because if we can get you to the best version of yourself, manifesting everything you desire, there is no question you'll be an outstanding mother. Yes? How does that sit? How does that feel?
It feels strange.
Tell me more.
I mean, what would it mean to even think about it in terms of I have to focus on my desires first?
Correct.
Because it seems like that is that's a big undertaking all by itself.
Yes.
And I have to, in between that, I still have to have the time and energy to do what I need to for my son.
Yes. So let me ask you a question. How would it feel if I told you that all you actually have to do is get clear about what you want, but you don't have to take any action towards it? I love that face. Are you frowning too? Uh-huh.
I don't understand that.
Okay, let me help you understand. And I want to hear from you, what's your biggest dream and desire in your life right in this moment?
To be happy.
To be happy.
Yes.
Okay, I need you to say a little more about that because the universe doesn't work in generalizations. What is happy for you?
And for me, I think I don't know. I've always, I've normalized a lot of trauma in my life and just trying to get by.
Okay.
So, it's interesting to hear you guys speak on certain things when I haven't really taken the time to. Vacations just happen, boys just happen, jobs just happen. So I've never really actually manifested something, come forth and gotten it.
Well, let me tell you, everything you've manifested is exactly what you were asking for.
Just, I didn't know it.
Right. What is happening is that you believe that what you're thinking doesn't have an impact on what shows up in your life. And this whole well, I don't know. It's okay. That's fine, right? This sort of taking what comes your way is you telling the universe exactly what you desire. So you said you don't know what makes you happy. I want you to answer this question for yourself, okay? What's your favorite meal? Favorite thing to eat?
Salmon.
Salmon. How's it cooked?
Medium well.
Okay. Where is your favorite environment? Cold weather, beach, sun, rain, mountain, favorite environment? Sun. Beachy, sun. Fantastic. Favorite way to travel? If I needed you to get from here to Boston, how do you want to get there? Train, plane, bicycle?
My favorite way to travel is plane, but to Boston from here would be train.
Okay, no buts.
Oh,
I
plane.
said, what's your favorite way to travel?
Plane.
Are you catching this? Okay. Favorite way to travel is by plane. Favorite meal is salmon. Favorite environment is beachy, sunny weather.
Yes,
I would beg to differ that you don't know what makes you happy.
that is correct.
Okay. Favorite clothes to wear?
I like to be naked.
Naked. You know what makes you happy, right? But what we do all the time is we think that we have to compromise what we know we want so that we can do, be, and support those who are around us. And that is actually doing them a disservice because they're getting a minimized, shrunken version of who you are. Got it? Now what about you? Biggest dream or desire right now in your life?
Be healthy.
To be healthy. Oh, this is a good one. What does that mean?
To be both physically and mentally, to not have a care.
To not have a care. Okay, hold on. Let's follow this.
Yeah.
When you say physically, what does your physical healthy look like?
To be cancer-free.
Cancer-free. Fantastic. And what else? So the cancer's gone, but your legs are the width of this table. We're good with that?
No, I want to be in my ideal body.
Perfect. What does that feel like for you? Are you following this? What does an ideal body feel like?
Ideal body for me feels like it's aesthetically pleasing to me.
Wonderful. And tell me what that looks like. Do you see how we're digging?
Yeah, I can picture it.
Oh, wonderful. Let's give that to the universe. Tell me what it looks like.
I want to be a size 6.
Size 6. Fantastic. This is what I'm talking about. This is where I want you to go, right? And again, there's always this hesitation in us as people to say what we really want because we think we have to figure out how to make it happen. That is not true. Let me say this, and I really want you to pay attention. The universe does not need your help. The universe simply needs to know what you want. Has anybody used the GPS? You ever use the GPS? Google Maps, Waze, there's multiple ones. Okay, tell me what it is you do when you use the GPS. You put in your location. And then what do? Do you start mapping out the directions?
Oh no, I let it speak to me.
Oh, okay. I want you to understand that your location is your desires, and the universe is the actual GPS, right? The universe sees way more than you can see, just like the GPS. We all know, and if you don't, let me tell you now, these GPS systems, they work off of satellites that are in the sky that could tell me the quickest, fastest way to get from New York to California right now, based on the conditions on the road ahead that I cannot see. The same is true of utilizing vision boards and the universe to get you where you want to go. You put in the address, which is where you desire to be in your life, with your health, with your family, with your body, with your career. So I'll give you a perfect example. If I use a GPS and I say that I want to go to North Main Street, and that's all I type in, the GPS is going to give me every North Main Street in the United States. Correct? Okay, so maybe there's 25. Now, I realize this is not what I'm looking for, right? Like you said, I don't really know what makes me happy, okay? But you do know. What I realize is oh, the address is 125 North Main Street. So I put in the 125. And then what happens? I go from 25 addresses to maybe 7, because there's maybe 7 125 North Main Streets in the United States. Is that going to get me where I'm trying to go? Exactly. So then I say 125 North Main Street in Yuma, Arizona, and the GPS narrows it down to the one place I want to be. And then what does it do? It lets me sit back and calculates for me the fastest, easiest way for me to get there. You don't have to know how to get to the address you're looking for. You just have to be willing to put your desires into the GPS, which is the address you're trying to get to. How does that feel? Ooh, give me more. Out of control. Tell me more.
It feels like it's not that this destiny, as much as you want it,
Yeah.
is essentially not in your hands.
Oh, it's 100% in your hands.
I mean,
You're just picking.
want
You're
to
picking
know
where
that-
you're going.
Yeah, you want to get to this particular place, and then you just kind of let the universe put you there.
Oh my goodness. Ding, ding. We're done. We're done here. We're done. Thank you for coming. 100% correct, right? This is what you do with the GPS. Now, you may be one of those people who the GPS is like, oh, we're going to make a left on North Street. And you're like, I don't take this North Street. When I go, I normally go straight down Main. And then what do? You go the way that you ask yourself to go, and then you end up 45 minutes late to a place that the GPS was going to get you to on time. Now, you're not without, there was an obstacle you could not see. But again, this is not your concern. Your concern is where you want to go, how you want to feel, where you want to live, how you want your family to treat you. That's the only thing you're concerned with. I want you to free yourself of the burden of figuring out how to get onto the theater stage that you want. I want you to free yourself of the burden of how to get your family to respect you. I want you to free yourself of the burden of how to get into that size 6. That's not your job. Do you think you could do that? Does it feel lighter for you to say, you know what, I'm just gonna speak what I want and I'm just gonna leave it there. Is it scary to do that? It's scary to, okay, tell me why it's scary to just say what you want when you don't have to do anything with it.
Because it feels like, well, I think we've been taught all of our lives that we have to engage, we have to take control of everything.
Oh, you have to take action. Yes. I had a person tell me once, and I want you to pay close attention to this. I had a person tell me that she was exhausted because she was doing too much. And she said the reason she pushes herself is because she's always been taught in her family church that she grew up in that faith without actions is dead. Something like that. Exactly. So if you have faith in something you want, but you don't take any action, then what you want will not manifest. So I said to her, well, if you had faith, you would know you don't need to take action. Right? Because if you had faith in what you desired, you know it will come. Let me ask you a question. How many of you, right, required or acquired anything you have in your life exactly the way you planned it? Right, hello, right? We plan how we're gonna get a house. We plan how we're gonna get into school. We plan how we're gonna find our companion, our brownstone. Everything you have in life got to you in a way that has nothing to do with the plans you made to get it. Think about that.
Okay, what are your thoughts on imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome.
Yes.
What about it? Tell me more.
I feel like there's a fear of moving forward. It's not that I feel complacent in my life, but I feel like I'm not ready or maybe I'm not deserving of
The things that you want?
Doing everything that you can.
Yeah, I'm sitting in toxic relationships. I'm
Yes.
in family members that don't respect me.
Sure.
So
Yes.
yeah,
So here's the thing. The imposter syndrome is what you're living right now. Because you just named for me things that don't work. You said I'm in a toxic relationship, right? You said I talk to family members who don't respect me. So you're an imposter in your own life right now. What I'm telling you to do with this vision board and what I'm helping you to understand this will do in your life is it's going to help you become more of who you are. And then everything around you that does not suit who you are will fall to the wayside. Same way you said, my intentions at the family reunion was to have everyone talk. Oh, well, they didn't want to do that. So what did they do? They fell to the wayside. They don't even want to talk to you, right? But that's what you need. You need to clear out the things that don't work. What you're doing now is imposterous, right? But being clear about what you desire, now that's living your true self. Thoughts. Because I want to make sure you're following this. You really need to know that the only thing you're required to do to live the life of your dreams is to get clear about what you want. Yes? Okay, I want to do another activity with you. There's another sheet you have here. So what we're doing now is we're going to take out this envision this sheet. The purpose of this is that it is everything you need to focus your attention on in your life. And here's what I want you to do. This is simple. This is free thought. Do not handcuff the universe. Do not minimize. I want you to be outlandish with what you write here. If it asks about health, I want you to write the 2 most grandiose ideas you have about your health. I'll give you mine. I want my body to look like Serena Williams. Now, do I know how to make that happen? That's a no. But that doesn't stop me from letting the universe know that that's the destination I want to get to when it comes to my body. So I want you to answer these across the board for every area of your life. Just 2 things, the top 2 things that you really want related to each one of them. And while you do that, I want you to listen to me. I want you to understand that what you put out to the universe, what you allow yourself to say, and most importantly, what you allow yourself to think is what the universe is going to follow. So, let me ask you a question. How many of you get bills? Do you have bills to pay? Anybody have bills to pay? Okay. Now, most bills you got to pay usually every 30 days, right? That tends to be the way bills like to be treated. Now, when you pay a bill, do you pay the bill and then you don't think about it again until you're on day 29 so that you're ready to pay it the next day? Or once you pay the bill, are you then 2 or 3 days later saying, oh, I got to start putting money aside so I can pay that bill again in 20 days or 15 days? What do you think? You're the second one. Okay. So you ever notice how you keep getting bills? Right. That's because you're focused on them. Let me help you understand something about the universe. The universe does not know the difference between negative and positive. This is why vision boards are so important. It just needs clarity. So if my focus is bills, the universe doesn't know that I'm thinking about the bills because I'm concerned about paying them and I want to get rid of them, right? I want to pay them off and be done with them. The universe doesn't know that. What the universe is saying is, oh, Lachelle keeps thinking about bills. She wants more bills. Let's give her more bills, right? If you're thinking about losing weight and you're like, oh, what am I gonna do? What plan? Am I gonna be keto? Am I gonna be vegan? Am I gonna get a trainer? Am I gonna jump rope? Am I gonna swim? I need to lose weight. I need to lose weight. I need to lose weight. The universe says, Lachelle wants more weight. And so no matter what you try, more weight comes. What you need to be focused on is what you actually want. So if you don't want bills, don't think about them, right? I don't think anybody is writing something down about having more bills on this list in any category. I don't think anyone is writing down, oh, I want to be 15 times larger than I am right now. Nobody's thinking that. But in everyday life, what happens is the things that worry us get our attention. And that's where we go wrong. And this is why you need a board. Because when you build a vision board, it is a visual daily reminder of the things you truly desire, because life's gonna happen, right? Shit's gonna pop off all the time with everyone, transportation, family, money. Things are gonna go down that you did not ask for, because that's how life goes. But the minute you change your focus to the thing that is troublesome, worrying you, challenging you, the universe follows your thought. And it's like, oh, so for example, if I say, oh, I'm about to pay this bill, and the universe is like, oh, she's focused on bills. I pay it and I stop thinking about it. And then I start thinking about that sunny beach side that I'm gonna be on, hanging out with my friends who know, love, and respect me. The universe is already crafting a way to get me to that beach. That bill will come again in 30 days. But I'm not focused on it, so the universe is not trying to over-deliver. The universe cannot help but over-deliver. It's the universe. So anything you ask for, anything you write down, you are going to get an abundance of it, which is why you need to be clear about what you truly desire.
How do you get to this place of clarity? I feel like there is a hump there. Something has to happen to get out of this cycle of knowing you have to pay this bill and knowing that you have to do these things, to getting rid of the toxic people, to thinking all sunny days.
Yes. How do you get over the hump? It's very basic, actually. So let me ask you a question. Let's just say, God forbid, you slip into a coma on January 2nd. Is that bill gonna come on the 30th?
Yes.
If you're still in the coma, is the bill coming?
Oh, yes.
Okay, in the coma, you think you're thinking about the bill?
No.
But the bill's gonna come?
Yes.
Okay. So, all you have to do is be clear about what you desire. The bill's gonna come. The grandfather's gonna ask you to drive him around every Saturday. The faucet's gonna leak. The car's gonna break down, right? Because that's life. But if you're trying to craft a life that feels amazing and is really manifesting everything you want, you have to stay focused on what you desire. That is the only way to get over that hump, okay? So if you're building a board and bills is a challenge for you and it's something you think about all the time, what would you put on your board related to bills? one, ding, ding, ding. Nothing. You don't need to. Now, when you create the board, will it stop the bill from coming? Now, when you get clear on the board about how you want to spend your money, what do you think the universe is going to do? It's going to start to bring to you the things you desire to experience. And now here's where we get tripped up. We say things like, oh, I want to go on this world-class vacation. That's going to be about 3 months long, probably cost me about $70,000, but I don't have that. All you need to say is, I want to go on a world-class vacation. It's going to be about 3 months long. It's going to cost about $70,000, and I'm going to bring these people, and we're going to go to these locations. And then you stop. That is where you stop. Now, you might think it. You might be in the habit of thinking, how am I going to make this happen? But that's not what you're here to do. Here's how you manifest in the best way possible using a vision board. You put your biggest desires and dreams on the board. You put your biggest desires and dreams on the board, and then you just leave it there. Anybody ever heard of a crock pot? You set it and forget it. This is how you use your vision board. You set it, you put it somewhere where you can see it, and we're going to talk about that shortly, and then you forget it. You go on about your day. You go to the job you already have. You make breakfast for the kids you already have. You drive the car you already own. But what you're doing is you're designing what your future's gonna look like. I want you to think about this. I want you to think of one thing you have in your life right now, and just name it. I want y'all to name it for me. I want you to name it. What's one thing you have in your life right now that you possess? Own. Anything. You own your cell phone. You own plenty. You own your t-shirt. You own your hairstyle. What do you own?
I own my home.
She owns her own home. Okay, so here's what I want you to understand. The things that you have in your life right now are the things that you thought about previously, and they have materialized. If you want your life to look different than it does right now, you have to think about what you want your life to look like now, so that the GPS of the universe will take you to where you want to go. Do you understand? Your life may feel really crappy right now, but that's because you were focused on crappy shit a while ago. And that's what you were focused on, so that's where the universe brought you. If you want to be in a healthier place, you want to have a healthier body, if you want these things, that's where your focus needs to be. And whatever you focus on, I want you to brace yourself, because you're going to get way more than you asked for. And here's what I want you to remember. This works both ways. If you're focused on bills, you'll get way more bills. If you're focused on vacation, you're going to get way more vacation. Do you understand? I myself started focusing on travel and vacation years ago. And at this point, I vacation literally once a month. That was not my lifestyle. But all I do is focus on what I want to do, and it becomes materialized in my life. Does that make sense? I want you to tell me, what's your struggle here? Anything you're having a hard time answering? What about you, Kim?
Love.
Oh, love. Okay. Tell me what your thought is. What's the first thing that comes to mind when I say, what do you want with love?
I'm stuck. I'm totally stuck.
Okay, so here's what you do when you get stuck. You ask yourself small, bite-sized questions, right? When I feel loved, what am I doing? Tell me that. When you feel loved, what are you doing?
I'm usually with my family.
Okay, so with love, there's something about being in community with people that means something to you. Okay? Now, is it enjoyable when you're with your family?
Oh, completely.
Wonderful. So here's another small question. What is it that you and your family do that feels enjoyable? One thing.
When we laugh together.
When you laugh together. What are you typically laughing about? Is it conversation? Are you watching a fun movie?
We're usually reminiscing about
Got
other
it.
times we've had together and just laughing about.
Got it.
How we
So as you connect to love and you think about what you want in love, you want fun times, you want community, you want laughter, you want joy. Those are all things that feel like love to you, right?
Yes.
What did you struggle with?
Well, now I'm second guessing
Oh,
because I automatically thought romantic love.
sure. But again, there's
Yeah,
no definition.
Exactly. So now,
You see, because if she's focused on family time and you're focused on romance, the universe is powerful. It's going to give you exactly what you're focused on. You see? So that is love for you, right? Love for someone, love for a chef is a phenomenal kitchen and pantry. Does that make sense? I don't want you to hear I don't want you to hear what others around you define as love or fun or adventure and then try to calibrate that to what it is you define for yourself. Okay? So let me ask you this. Anybody here have any ideas of some things they want to put on their board? What do you think your board needs?
I want property. I want vacation property.
Ooh, property. Love that. Tell me a little bit more about the property. I want you to answer this question for yourself. If you're thinking about property, living in a particular place, romance, I want you to get specific. I want you to give me some specifics about your property.
I want it to be a vacation property that is like the south of France on a beach in another country. So something I travel to.
Wonderful. A beach in the south of France. Excellent. And it's a vacation property. How do you use it? Or what's happening with this property when you're not there?
It's being rented.
Wonderful. Excellent. So you want some images of this beach house on the south of France. Right. Are you worried about how you're going to make that happen?
No,
Fantastic. Really? Tell me why.
because that's not my problem. It's the universe's.
Exactly. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. About 2 years ago, I went to Kenya to visit some friends with a bunch of other friends to celebrate one of my friends' birthday, right? They're from this country, but they moved to Kenya. So we go to celebrate. While we're there, we got to visit this lovely little town called Diani. It's like a beachfront resort kind of location. And while we're on the beach, just chilling, I sat there and I said to myself, I would really love to live here half the year. And that was it. I was very clear. I could see myself living there. And then I came home. So the friend who invited us reached out to the group of us a few months later and said, hey, I know that we were talking about why we moved to Kenya and property. I found some property that we could buy. Who's interested? Now I immediately said yes. My bank account said no, but I said yes, right? And so he said, okay, I'm glad I see who's interested. Let me do a little more research. Turns out we could buy the property. It was in Diani. It was on the beach, right? Where we can build our own homes. Very exciting. Again, bank account, no. Mind and energy, yes. And that's all I was focused on. So he said, hey, we're going to be able to set up a payment plan to pay for this property over the course of a year. And I said, cool. So he gave us the price for each of us for our own section of this property. Fantastic. And I put on my board, this is how much I need. And I left it alone. So he called around May and said, we can start paying in September. So I think most people in the group were like, okay, now I got to start getting these payments together, right? Because I'm going to have to be able to submit this. I didn't think about it at all. August comes, and I got a phone call from 3 people that I have done work with previously. And each of them said, hey, I need to get they're all teachers, they're all principals, and they're like, I need to get my staff sort of calibrated to starting the year again. It's been a rough one for us. Can I hire you to lead a workshop with them? 3 different schools. I said, of course, I'd be happy to do that. I want to support educators in any way I can. Scheduled these workshops, and then guess what? What each of those people paid me for that workshop that I did for each of their individual schools collectively was exactly what I needed to pay the whole amount for that property minus $50. And guess what else? The day he told us we could pay, the Friday before, all 3 of those checks showed up in my account. So day 1 of this year-long payment plan, the universe delivered to me every dime minus $50, which my bank account said yes to that, right? Every dime I needed was delivered to me from the universe. Now, when he called in May with this proposition, I had no idea where I was gonna get this money from, but I wasn't gonna focus on it. I just wanted to focus on what I desired. I was not gonna handcuff the universe around what it was gonna do and who it was gonna use to get me what I wanted. Is that clear? Does that make sense?
It does, but are you saying that you did not think about how you would come up with that money at all?
0. I didn't do it at all.
That doesn't sound realistic to me.
Well, here's the thing. If I didn't come up with the money at the time that it was needed, I simply wouldn't have the property, right? It wasn't like by September, if you don't do it, we're gonna amputate you from the waist down, right? It was, this is what I desired. And I believed in what I desired, and I could see myself there. I saw myself there when I visited. And that was it. I didn't think about it at all because honestly, I really couldn't come up with a plan. You see what I'm saying? I want you to be clear. It's not your job to come up with a plan for how to get you to that destination. Because you could never come up with a plan as good as the universe, right? You could never come up with a plan as good as the GPS to get you from point A to point B. Because you don't know the points where the tree is down. You don't know the points where there's a river out. You don't know that there was a 3-car pileup on I-95. You don't know that because you can only see about a half a mile in front of your car, right? The GPS sees it all, and it knows the fastest, easiest, healthiest way to get you there. And it's gonna use any and everybody they need to do it. Sound good? Okay, tell me where you're struggling. Tell me what feels like something you may not be able to do. Like, I know you keep bringing up, and I'm sure a lot of you keep bringing up, like, how do I stop myself from being in the habit of trying to make the plan to get me what I think I want?
Because I'm a doer.
Yes.
I travel a lot. I'm reckless with money. I say reckless because that's what I've been told I am.
Yes. Hold on, let me say something about being reckless with money. If you're reckless with money, it sounds like you need more money. Right? I don't want you to spend a lot of time trying to become someone you're not. That's not what this is about. This is becoming clear about who you actually are. The universe can support whoever you are. So if you're reckless with money and you want to have money, then you just need more money. So you can be reckless because that's who you are.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
How does that feel?
So I need to put out to the universe that I need more money.
Period. Plain and simple, right? I don't want you to waste your time trying to become something you're not, because then you fall into the category of, this is how I'm gonna get what I need. It's not gonna work. It is not gonna work. Does that make sense? Okay, so the people tell you you're reckless with money and?
I mean, and I still do me. I still go on my trips. But I don't have huge savings. I don't have a full 3D 401k.
Would you like a huge savings?
Of course, that's what I have in the money, yes.
Excellent. So it is not about what you don't have. It's not about what you don't want. It's about what you do want.
Yes.
You want to be reckless, vacation spontaneously, and have tons of money in the bank. All of that is possible. You can't figure out how to do it, but that is a drop in the bucket for the universe. You just have to want it. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. Kim, what about you? Anything feeling like a struggle?
Most of this is a struggle.
Okay.
Like, to be honest, like
Yes.
what we want, you know?
Yes.
Because I think too, we condition ourselves.
Sounds so simple.
Right. But when someone else asks you for something, what do you do?
I want the details. I want exactly what they need.
And
I
then
wanna
do
give
you-
them what they want.
Exactly. This is what you have to do for yourself. And I want you to understand something. You know what you want. You just aren't accustomed to saying you want it. And that's what I'm is that correct? You know what you want. Every question I've asked you, perfect example. If I were to offer you, do you like burgers?
No,
What do you like to eat?
anything vegetarian.
Okay, so nope, but here we go. More specific. Favorite vegetables.
Favorite vegetables? Anything.
Nope.
Totally anything.
So here is this is perfect.
example.
I'm so glad. Here's where we struggle. Anything is not something the universe can deliver on.
Right.
Anything is the thing that has you with a bunch of experiences that make you feel melancholy, sad, depressed, because anything is coming your way. But your soul knows what it wants.
We're being so accommodating.
Well, yes,
You're not used to saying.
Used to be very vague.
Yes.
very vague, right? Because I don't want to put anyone out.
Right.
I don't want people to think that I'm crazy, that my dream is this big, right? This is the stuff we tell ourselves. I want you, okay, Kim, I'm pushing you, and I'm pushing you. Give me your favorite vegetable.
Eggplant.
Excellent. Now, how would you want me to prepare an eggplant for you?
Parmesan, please.
Parmesan. Is there oil? Is there garlic? Is it roasted? Is it baked?
Yes, all of those things.
Tell me specifically.
I want it made by a great Italian chef.
Who?
I don't even care.
Mario, you do care.
Mario Batali can make mine.
You want your eggplant made by Mario Batali. You want it to be Parmesan.
Yes, but I want him across the room.
You want to see him make it?
Yes.
Fantastic. And
I
is
wanna
this,
keep my distance.
that's fine. Is this in a restaurant? Is it in your home?
It's in my home.
Great.
Yes.
So now, you actually know what you desire, right? But you've become accustomed
Yes.
to saying anything will do. I'm easy to please,
Yes.
right? And that's where the universe gets handcuffed. Because it sits there and it goes, I can't deliver just anything. I actually need to know what you want. And it'll wait. It will wait. It'll wait for two reasons. It'll wait when you're not clear, and it will wait when you want to write out the directions. It's like, oh, you want to go left? Sure, no problem. You won't get where you're trying to go, but I'll wait. And when you've gone left and it doesn't work, and you feel like you're at your wit's end, and you throw up your hands, that's when the universe goes, our turn. Okay, I know what you said you wanted. Now let me get you there. Does that make sense? Okay, so I want us to build our boards because this is where the rubber meets the road. What I want you to do is I want you to think about just 2 or 3 of the things that you've become clear about today. And I want you to pick out images that you can place on your board to start designing this life you want. Now let's say we have cut out images here. And so I'm gonna let you have your way with it, and I've sorted it out and everything. But let's say you're at home and you don't have cut out images. Not a problem. Google has every image you could ever want. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna open up a blank document and you're gonna Google images to the greatest detail you can think of, right? If you want a brand new car, and I'm gonna give you an example. You want a brand new car. What kind of car do you want? What color is this car? And what will you do in this car? Who's in it with you? Is it friends? Is it family? Is it you by yourself? Are you listening to music? What do you see out of the windshield of that car when you're driving your brand new car? Is it the California coast? Is it a New York City skyline? Are you driving up to the beach? Google that information, find images that match what you see for yourself, drag it to your blank document, and then print them out somewhere. Go to Staples, if you have a printer at home, print it out and start to place it on your board. So what I want you to do, all of you, think of 2 categories that you want to start your board with, and then I want you to take a moment and find these images that meet that. I want you all to leave your stuff here and head over to where the images are so that you can start picking and choosing. There are no limits to how much you can take, and there is no limit to what you can take. Got it? And we're back. You look different already. So did you have fun picking out some images? I hope you did, like we did here. Okay, so now it's time to start affixing your images to whatever it is you want to put it on. Here's one thing I want you to know, okay? Some people I know, some of my clients, they put their images directly on the wall, which is fine. I like to use oak tag, you can use solid white, you can use colors, whatever you like. What I don't recommend is using something that is framed. Like I know people who like framed cork boards, for example. That's not a good thing because your vision board is a living thing. And I want you to understand that as you start to manifest what you desire, you're going to start to realize more of what you want. And that board will grow tremendously. So now that you have some images, what are you thinking? I want to know a little bit about what you picked and what your questions are about making the board.
How would you go about laying things out on the board?
Yes, this is a good question. And this is for my OCD friends, okay? A lot of times people want to organize the things on their board in categories. I want all the house stuff over here, and all the vacation stuff over here, and all the romance stuff over there. Well, there's two reasons I'm going to tell you not to do that. One is you're going to start to figure out every day that this board is up more things that you want. And so you're going to get the house section together, and then you're not going to have space to add that fireplace you realize that you want in the house. So what I suggest is you glue your image to your board and then put something next to it that just sort of fits in the space. You don't need everything to be organized because the universe does not need you to give it instructions. Your life happens all over the place. Think about any given day in your life, right? You get up, you're supposed to go jog, but you get a phone call because your neighbor is locked out of the house. Then you're late for work, but then when you get there, there's supposed to be a meeting. But then the meeting doesn't happen because there's a fire alarm in the building, so everyone has to come outside. Right? You hear what I'm saying? Does this make sense? Life can be as crazy and as messy as you want it to be, and so can your board. The universe can put all the pieces together and line things up the way that is needed to get you where you're trying to go. So it doesn't have to be like all the love stuff here. Spread it out. Make room because more is going to come to you.
And this may be a silly question, but
No silly question.
Because right now it's like a collage.
Yes.
How would a vision board be different from a collage? You don't want us to overlap things?
No.
Okay.
So, yes, this is a good example, right? So you got this gorgeous guy with this sign that I can't really see what it says.
Because I don't quite know what happiness is. So that's just,
Oh, you don't need to know what happiness is, right? But it's the perfect question.
yeah.
What really makes you happy? That's a question you're going to see on your board every day, and it's a question that your mind is going to focus on. And as you answer that question, because you might realize that Adidas make you happy, then you're going to put some Adidas on the board, right? And then what you're going to discover is you're going to go to a friend's party at their house, and then the friend's going to say, "What size shoe do you wear?" And you're going to say, "Oh, I wear a 10." And they go, "Oh, let me get you these sneakers. I wear a 10 and a half. I told my cousin I didn't like these. They don't fit. You want them?" And they open the box, it's Adidas. You see what I'm saying? So that can go in the center. But do not overlap to the degree that you cannot fully see the image that you are interested in having on your board. Everything needs room to breathe. You have a question?
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
Clearly, I needed more than one piece.
Absolutely.
To put all of this together. I noticed certain things that I put on here.
Yeah.
That I suppose I didn't realize at the time. That
Yes.
But I want this, I want this, I want this, and I want this.
Right.
There were a couple things that I was looking for that I couldn't find.
Okay.
But I noticed that when it came up, I noticed, a common theme in everything.
Yes.
Which was kind of strange. It never occurred to me.
Yes.
And just my hands just kind of went to
Okay.
a certain place.
So 2 things I want you to know.
Yeah.
First thing is, you are often going to have images in your mind that you can't find in life, right? You Googled and you can't find it. Stay clear about what you want, but don't put a substitute on your board, okay? Because the universe is gonna give you what you put there, okay? Just leave it off until it comes to you. The other thing is that themes will show up on your board because that's the area you're focused in. Your soul's biggest desire is like the theme you have going here. You have actresses and writers. You have Look at Me. You're the person who said you wanted to be on the Richard Rodgers stage, right? So that is something that is prominent in your energy right now. And it makes sense that most of the images you pull for your board are gonna relate to what stands out to you the most. And that's fine, right? You may have nothing on here about health. You may have nothing on here about home. No complaints, right? Because when this starts to manifest and you start getting that check and you start getting those auditions and you start booking things, now you start to think about that brownstone. Because you're like, oh, I need more room in my life. This apartment won't do. And now there are things in your life that are helping you see how the brownstone will be manifested. But first, you gotta stick with where your soul is pulling you, okay? So don't put anything on your board that doesn't match what you want exactly. Just leave room for when it shows up, because what you're looking for will show up. And also don't worry if much of what you pick is similar in category. Here's another tip. Your board should not be filled with a ton of words. Words are like exclamation points, right? Let's say I asked each of you, where's your favorite vacation? And you all said, my favorite vacation's on a beach. What beach would you want to be at? What country, what city? Pick one.
Cancun.
Cancun. What about you? Ipanema. What about you?
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar. So each of you may cut out the same image of a beach, but you would put the word Zanzibar, you would put the word Ipanema, you would put the word Cancun, right? Words are exclamation points. You cannot have a vision board filled with words, because when you look at it, you can't see yourself on that beach. You only see the word Cancun. You need the image where you're placed inside of your reality when you pass the board by. Does that make sense? And what about you? What did you pick? Let's review. Tell me why you picked what you picked. This is a good thing to do, is review your board and get clear about your intention behind what you put on the board. So tell me what you picked. Give me two things.
Two things. So I picked dramatic results, good medicine, and 3 very fit women.
Excellent. And I know what that's about because we talked about it.
Yes.
Okay, what else did you pick?
I have a picture of RuPaul and Fearless.
Very nice. Tell me why. Tell me what it is about fearlessness that you want to experience. What does Fearless Kim look like?
I love building fearlessness in others.
Oh,
It's my favorite thing to do.
got it. And do you feel like you have fearlessness?
I do.
Okay, great.
I do.
So you want more of that.
I do want
Perfect.
more of that. I want to embrace it the same way RuPaul does.
Fantastic.
It's bigger.
And that's something I want you to keep in mind. You can put things on your board that are already happening in your life, especially if you want it to be bigger, grander, or you want more of it, okay? Don't hesitate. And give me one more thing on your board. Tell me about this.
Yes, so this is a picture of a couple together on the beach.
Yes.
I manifested that second home, and now I just not have to get my husband down there to relax with me.
Yes, what you have to do is you have to get down there to relax with you, which will give your husband the opportunity to join you. So this is great. And there's something about this picture I want to point out, and I want you all to know. When you make a board, if you find an image that represents what you want, but the people in the image don't look like you, right? I'm a black woman, but I find a white woman who's doing exactly what I want to do on the beach in Cancun, she's going on my board, okay? Now, you don't want it to be like there's a dog doing what you wanted to do. Like, it should be a human. You get it? I want you to be clear about that. So now, I want you to know one thing before I tell you about where to place this in your home. I want you to know that this board is going to grow, and you're not even going to realize how much clearer you're getting until you find yourself trying to make more room for putting things on your board that are coming to you with clarity. and it'll come fast, okay? So now let's talk about where to place the board in the house. This is not something you put in your closet. This is not something you put on the back of a door. I don't care how beautiful your closet is. You could have a walk-in closet with a chaise lounge. Do not put your vision board there. And another thing, especially for those who like the mirror in the bathroom, do not put your vision board in the bathroom, right? You want it to be somewhere where you can see it all the time, but the bathroom is a no-no, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm a certified feng shui consultant. I know a lot about where you position things in the home and what energies impact you in the home. And what I want you to know about bathrooms is where you go to get rid of things. Think about that. Everything you do in the bathroom is to get rid of things. And that is not something you want to get rid of. You want to manifest what you put on your board. So bedrooms, great place to put your board. A lot of times people will say things to me like, but I don't know if I want my spouse to see what I desire. Okay, well, that's a longer conversation. But what I want you to realize is that the universe will use the people in your house to bring you what you want. Even if they're people that don't really align themselves with your desires, this is the importance of putting it in a place where you see it all the time. People like to put it in their doorways, like their vestibule. If you go in and out the house a lot, I'm fine with that. If you're still working from home and you don't go out often, that's not a place for it. You can put it in your living room if you really want to be bold and make it the centerpiece of conversation for everyone who comes through the door, but typically bedrooms are best, especially somewhere you can see it when you go to bed at night and when you first wake up in the morning, okay? And remember, the reason you need to see the board is because life is going to be happening. The things you thought about before that are your reality right now are happening. And this board is designed to help you stay focused on where you're headed. Does that make sense? That's why you have to see it. Now, when you make this board, please don't wait until you have a certain number of images up on your board before you put it somewhere. Put it up immediately. I don't care if you have one image. Put up a board in a space that I described as easily visible to you, and put that one image. If all you know you want is a drum set, just put the drum set. That's it. And leave it there. Any thoughts, questions? Please, yes.
Okay, it's not that I don't want my husband or my family to see it.
Okay.
I just am thinking in terms of, okay, if the bedroom is one location,
Yep.
but my walls are kind of strange.
Okay.
Is the kitchen a viable option?
The kitchen is okay, but the challenge with the kitchen is it's a transient room,
Yes.
right? We don't really spend unless you're a chef. If you're a chef,
I'm not a chef.
Okay.
I do spend a good
The-
amount of time in the kitchen.
the kitchen is okay. The other problem with the kitchen is the grease and the splatter and the things that, you know how kitchens get.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that to your board. What wall is just outside your kitchen?
The dining room.
You can put it there, right? And your bedroom, I'm sure there's a place to put it. You don't want to put it in a place where you have to like get up and turn to look at it, right? You want it so that when you open your eyes, it's there. The foot of your bed is a great place, okay? A wall in your living room or dining room, great place if it's a place that you really pass through all the time, okay? And I want you to know something. You don't have to study your board. This is not an altar, right? It's a board. When you walk by it, even if you don't intentionally look at it, you will see what's on it. If I asked you what color your sofa is and where it is in the house, you would know without having to stop and study it on your way out the door. Does that make sense? Any other thoughts, questions? You are working it. Keep going. Yes. Any other thoughts? I suggest gluing. I want to say that really quickly. I suggest gluing, not pinning, because that falls off. You want to give the universe an idea that you permanently are clear about what you desire. And then one last question, sir.
Yes. So what size board should I start with, and how do I connect them as it grows?
Yeah, so these are little squares that you can keep growing. I use regular oak tag, like grade school, which is probably half the size of this, table. My own vision board at home is much bigger than this table you're sitting at here. Okay, so whatever works for you is good.
How long have you?
Been vision boarding? I've been vision boarding well over a decade. I started with a very small board that was about this size. I still to this day can't remember what started me, but when I noticed that I put a MacBook on my a desktop. I put a MacBook desktop on my vision board with like speakers for my house and one other thing. And about 3 months later, the very MacBook that I put on there manifested itself in my life in the most unusual way. Because when I put it there, my mind said, I can't afford that, but I didn't let my mouth say it. And the universe delivered it to me. So yes, I've been doing it for quite some time, and I highly recommend it for you. If you have any more thoughts, any more questions, refer back to what I sent you in the kit, and you can always, always reach out to me through my website at LaChelleWooten.com, and I'd be happy to make sure that you get on track and you stay on track. The only way to manifest the life you desire is to be willing to release the life you're living and get clear about what you want. Good? What a great class. I'm so glad you made this choice to do this for yourself. And maybe you discovered while we were together that you were a little bit like my friend who didn't know what vegetables she wanted. Or you were focused more on other people like our friend Michael was. Or even more, you were the person who was willing to let go of your dreams because you just couldn't figure out how to make them happen. It doesn't matter where you found yourself in this class. You did the work, you made it through, and now you're ready to execute. You're ready to put this board up where it belongs so that you can see it every day. Because from this day moving forward, your life is going to change. I want you to remember, you are thinking about, with a lot of clarity, all the things you desire, because they are at your fingertips. You just have to be clear about what you want. And then I want you to be clear that even if you can't say out loud what you desire, say it with your vision board. Just put what you want up there and leave it for the universe to follow the roadmap of your desires that you designed today. So I'm gonna leave you with this as you move into putting that board where it belongs, giving it everything you've got. The only thing you need to get what you want is the understanding that you desire it and the willingness to say that it's yours. You can manifest anything you want. Just focus on it, be clear about it, and let the universe do the rest. Now remember that land in Kenya I told you about? I'm on my way there now. I've got to meet with designers to build this house of my dreams. So I need you to get your board popping so that you start living your best life every single day. I'm LaChelle Wooten. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for trusting me, and happy manifesting. So the GPS is something that I use to help people understand how the universe works. The universe is the GPS. The address is your desire. And that's all you have to do to get what you want in life, is you have to put in the address of what you desire. And you leave the universe to do the job of the GPS, to map it out the fastest, healthiest, most desirable way for you. This is a good question. Everyone thinks they need to know how to get where they're trying to go. I'm telling you, you don't have to know how at all. Because if you think about it for 2 seconds, everything you already have did not come to you the way that you planned it. So how things manifest in your life is none of your business. The way that you find clarity about what you desire is by asking yourself questions over and over again. There's no responsibility there. If you want something delicious for dinner, just ask yourself what you want and answer honestly. That's where the clarity comes from. You already know what you want. You just need to be willing to tell yourself out loud what you desire. If you're not sure what to put on your vision board, I want you to ask yourself one question. What is something I want right now? That could be an ice cream cone, it could be a nap. Whatever it is, you find an image that represents something you know you want right now and you get it on your board. The rest will start to come quite easily to you because everything you want is inside of you. You don't have to go searching for it anywhere else but right inside your soul. Now here's a thing that really calls the attention of the universe. I call it the megaphone. When you see yourself having what you desire, you have to allow yourself to feel it to the point where you're getting goosebumps. I know you've seen movies that have you crying or cracking up right in your seat. That's not your life, but you feel what's happening in the film. And that is what you need to do with what you want. You need to see it and then feel it. That's waving a big giant flag to the universe that says, hey, this is what I want. I'm ready. Bring it on. Vision boards are a great way to get through the blockages you have with relationships and money. We all have relationships that aren't the best for us, and none of us have the amount of money that we really desire. You use your vision board to put your wildest fantasies about the relationship you want, the friendships, the family relationships, the love romantic relationships. And you also use your vision board to put your biggest dreams about money. Now, I don't mean just put money on your board, which you need to do, but I want you to put the things you do in your life when you have endless amounts of money. That's how you get over the hump of thinking that you need to figure out how to make that money. You don't have to make that money. You just need to know how you're going to spend that money and make sure it's represented on your vision board. This is how you get out of your way. You let go of control. Now, I know that doesn't feel easy, but it is, and here's how. You literally say what you desire and you leave it be. Do not allow your mind to start thinking about, how am I going to do this? What is step A towards what my goals or my dreams are? Don't do that. Set it and forget it. Say what you want and leave it alone. Best place to put your vision board is somewhere in your home where you will see it every day. I like bedrooms, but if your bedroom has no space at all, I want you to make sure that your board is in a section of your home, not a closet, not a bathroom, but a section of your home where your eyes will cross it multiple times a day. So here's a few don'ts about your vision board. Don't put your vision board in your bathroom. That is not the place for anything you want to manifest. Also, don't crowd your board. Don't think that you have to fit everything you desire into one small space. You're a human. You have wild dreams. It's going to take space, and I want you to make space. So don't limit your board. And the last thing I don't want you to do, don't put your things in categories. This is your life. You don't want to first get the job before you enjoy romance. You don't want to first have children before you take that trip across the world. Everything in your life can manifest in any way necessary and possible. There is no order. So mix it up on your board. If you want to get a daily dose of me, you need to listen to the Abandoned Ordinary podcast. I created it just for you. I give you bite-sized nuggets of things that you need to know so that you can unravel where you are and make space for everything you desire. Manifest Me is the abandoned ordinary method. I took a few years to design a system that has 9 steps that get you from where you are to becoming a master manifester. So if you know that you get in your way, if you know that you accept things that you should not accept, if you know that you're thinking small or have a scarcity mindset, Manifest Me is a program you want to be a part of. You need to get your seat. It's 6 months of me. You know you're going places if you spend 6 months with me. Let me tell you about your mind changing. As you are manifesting what you desire, everything's gonna change, including your mind. So you follow what your soul and your mind is telling you. If you're in the middle of manifesting something that you hoped for, and you realize that this is not it, but you feel pulled in another direction, go with it. Think about it, because the universe is gonna follow what you focus on. So don't be afraid to change your mind. You have that prerogative, and you should. That's the best way to manifest everything. Now let me tell you, if you see things on your board start to manifest, which you will, don't take your board down and don't remove them. They are the steps that got you where you're going. But once you see that about 80 to 85% of your board has manifested, I want you to start a brand new board and move that 15% over that you still desire that hasn't quite come to reality yet over to your new board. But don't take things off after they've manifested. Leave them right where they are, because you get to see your journey along the way.